Okay, hey, well, welcome back. Alright, so here we are back in the silver screen and new studios here at Colors City of Liverpool online radio station, and Chase Johnson Lynch, joined once again by Jamie Bixby. Yes, there's been a lot of changes over the summer. So anyway, so Jamie had said, hey, look, let's go back to the silver screen. And even though instead of going into the past, last special was on musicals.
That's right, yeah.
Right? He said, I want to do a Highlander special. And so, who doesn't love a little Chris Lambert? So Jamie got some discs here, and we're going to actually just have a light discussion on Highlander and its many foibles. Yeah. Okay, so Jamie, I'll turn it over to you.
A Highlander special, Chase, is actually it's a haggis drunk with whiskey. Sorry, I just thought I'd stop the joke there, Chase. No, well, let's try.
Jamie's back.
Out of retirement, they let me out of that clink. But Chase, the recent news that the Highlander remake to be made by the producers of the Fast and the Furious films, Neil Moritz. It's going to be directed by John Moore, who directed the last Die Hard film and Behind Enemy Lines, and Javier Bardem has replaced Sean Connery as Ramirez.
Well, at least they're like within the same kind of ethnic culture.
Yeah, we'll come to that actually in a second there, because there's lots of misconceptions about the first one. It's good to clear up. But yeah, so first of all, there's like 3 DVD releases of the first film. There's the Immortal Edition, that's Region 1.
The Immortal Edition, there can be only one.
And it's in a nice steel book.
Like that a lot.
And that one actually comes with the soundtrack album by Queen, with the videos that they made.
The original material by Queen.
Excellent soundtrack. I think the songs they did.
Really nice poster. Never seen that version.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of, and there's more photographs in that and stuff.
Obviously.
That's the standard Region 2 version with a few extras on it. That was released around 2000.
Yeah. This is the most recognizable.
Yeah, and there's
Ramirez on a white horse.
Right, yeah, very Jungian. And this is the Region 2 Steelbook DVD, which is kind of less on it than the American one, but more than this one, for instance.
Well, before you move on, let's talk about that for a quick second, because obviously here we record in Liverpool in England, and so where we, in America we usually get those kind of like Region 1, Region 2s and stuff. Was there I don't know if you would call yourself an expert or anything like on down Highlander, was there any differences between the Region 1 and Region 2 versions when it first came out?
Yes, because particularly in not just with the extra features, the film itself, it was cut down a lot for the American release because it was considered too European, kind of, which I don't think they'd be allowed to do. Something like that today would be considered ethnically incorrect, I think, if you did that. So
because of the Scottish Highlands?
Because of the Scottish Highlands and a lot of like the banter between Scottish natives and a couple of violent scenes actually, because...
well, the war scene was pretty violent.
Yeah. Well, the decapitations as well, because that's considered kind of, at the time it was considered, what's the Irish rating? A rated or is it R rated?
Well, in America it's rated R, but I think they would have given it 16 or 18 rating here or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was a 15, yeah, and stuff. And it was taken more in the spirit over here of being a fantasy film, which of course it is. In America, I think it was considered slightly more, because it was blending the genres.
I think maybe it's because they've added the white light effect to the beheading, so that way it wasn't just kind of like a beheading, it was kind of like a releasing of the soul, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's kind of explicit to some people's beliefs and whatnot and things like that. In fact, there was in America a few mosques were complaining about it at the time and stuff.
Right.
Even though it wasn't meant to be representative of religion as such, just this thing. So that's the main difference. There's two different. The Region 2 versions are the 125-minute release of it, and the American one on the special edition is that as well. But the standard American release at the time was 110 minutes.
So wow! So you get an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then
is that on this one?
That's on that one. Yeah. And it's really good as well. The picture format's really good. And
I see it's got an audio commentary as well. Russell Mulcahy,
yeah, Russell Mulcahy, yeah. It was kind of, at the time it was a bit of back history for it. It was written by Gregory Wyden, who was he was an 18-year-old student at UCLA, and it was his first script. In actual fact, he was a fireman in the day.
Wow.
To fund his college tuition and university, whatever it was. He did this job as a fireman, and his first script, he presented it to his professor. It was called Shadow Clan at that time.
Shadow Clan.
Shadow Clan.
I like that.
And the producer, this is fantastic, and he said, I want to shop this out. And Gregory Wyden was like, well, you know, he didn't know the ins and outs. And the first production company that saw it, yeah, this is fantastic. Well, what actually happened was Connery seen it. He knew one of the producers, and Connery was doing publicity for Never Say Never Again. And
yeah.
he saw the word Highland. And he said, you know, is this some blue Scott kind of thing? And he read, this is fantastic. And they were like, oh no. And everyone was like, well, he's too old to play Conor McLeod. And he said, no. He said, I want to play Ramirez. And he said, but you're not Egyptian or Spanish. You're Scottish.
Yeah.
But then if you look in the script, and this is what was missing from the American version, is that Ramirez, Sean Connery, doesn't have a Scottish accent. He has an Egyptian accent, but Connor hears him with a Scottish accent, because that's what, when the immortals gather, it's like the TARDIS translates.
Yeah.
So to Ramirez, Connor's probably got an Egyptian accent, so that they can kind of understand it and stuff like that. And when Connery signed up for it at the time, people were like, because he hadn't made the film in 3 years, and people were saying, what's he playing at? You know what I mean? And he just saw the potential in it commercially as well. He said, I'll do it for the standard signing on fee.
Yeah.
Pay me in, you know.
But he also probably looked at it as like, I'm old enough to be the mentor, so I could play the mentor role and everything else like that.
I think the other thing was, it was a lot of money for like 7 days' work. So
yeah, well,
it was like $5 million for set, and then he played golf in between and stuff.
Wow.
Like that. And the problem, I think at the time, I seen Siskel and Ebert when they were talking about it. They made a big thing out of Connery's Scottish playing Egyptian, and Christopher Lambert's French playing this thing and all that stuff. It's in there if you look. It's kind of, none of it's everything about the film's meant to like wrong foot you. So you think, oh, is that what? And then like it explains it for you, if you know what I mean, that kind of thing. But Siskel and Ebert said at the time, it was just it was kind of, they took bits from Blade Runner and the Terminator and Conan the Barbarian and put it all together and things like that. But I don't think that's the case.
With a Queen soundtrack.
With the Queen soundtrack, yeah.
So I mean, like, let's go back to like these potential scenes. I mean, from your recollection, can you think of what is in the longer version that it wasn't in the scene version, like say the American version and all that?
Yeah, there's scenes where the earliest scenes are Connor talking to his wife Heather, and they've been trying to have a child, and they can't have one. And Connery goes into Ramirez's character, you know, the character of Ramirez, played by Connery, gives this big kind of soliloquy. I was in love once, and I wanted a son, and this and that, and you know, you can spend the rest. She can spend the rest of your life with you, but you can't spend the rest of
your life with her.
Yeah, and then there's another thing in the kind of the release film, the Kurgan, played by Clancy Brown.
Excellent.
He's fantastic, and yeah, you get, there's a lot more emotional weight there. You see why he's become the way he is. If you
why the Kurgan is becoming the way he is?
Because he was just like Connor at some point. He's being decent at some point, but he's even older than what Connor is. He's, you know, because it's from the dawn of time, and he's gone through this, and
I don't know, yeah, but I could understand why that's probably cut, because like first time we see him as like kind of like the dragon, you know, like the Kurgan on the battlefield. And then, you know, because he literally loses his head, now he's turned into a goth rocker in the modern day with the, you know, the nails around his neck and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I mean, like, to find out that he had some kind of, I don't know, backstory that they would have alluded to, I mean, it would have been a disservice to the character, I would think.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's that scene in the cathedral in New York where they sit down and they say this is a holy point and stuff like that. And kind of Connor's like, at that point that they know they're coming to like kind of the end, and eventually they're going to have to, you know. And I see what you mean. It's that's probably a handy thing to lose.
I mean, I would think that there's probably like more of the immortal scenes, you know, like kind of like with him and his friend who, you know, the black guy who has this sense of regalness in the 1-2 scenes that we see.
Yeah.
And there probably could have been another scene with him, or or
Yeah.
his story, or something like that. And I think that's why this concept lasted so long. I could definitely see why I went to series, because you can always do all the different immortals throughout time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of scope for storytelling and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think kind of with that, if you've got a character who's immortal, you can literally do like you can. There's nothing that you can't do. I mean, that's not to say they didn't get it wrong.
No. But I mean, you're like a lover of films like myself. I mean, like, one of the things that I found very familiar about this story when it came out was it was a lot like Time After Time.
Yeah.
With Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Pretty much felt like, shot by shot in some of the scenes, because you got a time traveler who meets up with a woman in the modern day, and he has to kind of like awaken her to this whole other reality going on. Like, it was Virginia Madsen, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And everything else
that was
like that.
Roxanne Hart, you're thinking of. Virginia Madsen.
Oh, Roxanne Hart. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Virginia
Roxanne
Madsen was Highlander too.
Yeah. Oh, well, no wonder I got it confused. But yeah, Roxanne Hart. And I mean, like, the thing about it is, it was very much like, okay, I'm chasing my very own Jack the Ripper through time.
Yeah, there's a lot of similar. I mean, the other film that was like as well. Did you ever see The Duelists, Ridley Scott, Harvey Keitel?
I've heard of it.
And Powers Booth, where basically these people have been in the American army for like, a copious about 40 years, and they keep getting close to finishing this duel, and it becomes a personal thing between them. That was a big influence on it, and stuff like that. There's also the classic vampire tale of, someone who lives forever, and his loved one dies, but in the present day he meets someone who looks just like it, and he's reminded of what he once had, and things like that.
No, that's
I tell you, some of the other deleted scenes, it shows you more in World War II, where he meets Hedda, the little girl who he rescues, and then she goes up to become this this PA or the secretary of what it is. It shows you more. There's definitely.
That's a great. That was a great tragic love story, that and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really very nice and everything. So, and I think it's those kind of poignant moments that was missing from the subsequent other versions. So let's move on to the subsequent other versions of Highlander.
Well, Highlander 2: The Quick in 1991, which is widely considered a bad film, and that's because it's a bad film, basically. There's a bit of a backstory which I'll go into. This isn't to make an excuse for it, but you'll understand better. Highlander, when it was released in America in the cinema, didn't make the money it thought it was going to make, but on VHS it made as much as E.T.
Yeah, I saw it on TV. Yeah,
and that baffled Hollywood, because they didn't understand.
It was pre sales time.
Because they were like, you can't do that. What do you mean the public will think of themselves? That kind of thing. People word of mouth caught on, and people just got to see this film if you like that kind of thing. So what happened? They commissioned Highlander 2, and the original idea was going to be that once you become like the final immortal, there's another game to be fought with the Eternals, and then once you beat that, it's like existentialism. You eventually become godlike, and the next level would be the Eternals. Now, Ramirez, who had passed on, was going to be trapped as an Eternal because it had gone wrong. So he dragged Connor into New York in modern day, and Ramirez was going to be the villain, Sean Connery. And Connery signed on saying, "Yeah, I've always wanted to play a villain."
Wow, sounds like a great idea. Too bad it never happened.
What happened was that the Canon Pictures went bust.
Of course, it's always about Canon. It always comes back to Canon and Golden Globus and all that.
That's it, and that's Jacques Peretti, who owned MGM. Well, he thought he owned MGM. He actually had monopoly money or whatever it was. He fell over the line or something like that. So what happened was an Argentinian production company put the money up, and no one checked the small print.
Oh no!
Right. So they started shooting, and then this Argentinian dissident comes on and said, "Hang on a minute, I commissioned a film about aliens," and they were like, "Oh, well, that's got nothing to do with Highlander anyhow." Well, it has now. So they were faced with if they didn't do, so they were like, "Oh, we've got aliens in this," and they said, "You know what? Just Just say
Make it that they actually come from another planet.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, Extros or whatever.
the planet Zeist.
Zeiss.
The absolute worst name.
Zeiss.
And then the other thing was, the other people who put it up were the Greenpeace people in Argentina. They put money up, and they said, we only put the money up because we wanted it to be like, you know, conscious about like you know, the ozone layer. So they were like, so we've got to do a film about Scottish immortals, aliens, and the ozone layer. So that's what everyone involved was like. You know what? Just get it done, get through it, like, and just get out of here. Like that. Everyone involved knew it was the end result was going to be bad. It was, and it's a shame because the potential was there at the beginning for it to be good. You know?
Well, it sounded like a good concept to start off with.
And the original concept would have been something the original fans would have liked. I don't know a single person who's seen Highlander 2 who hasn't.
No, I mean, yeah, but it couldn't. So let's look at the original for a quick second. The original concept was that because who doesn't love that final fight sequence? You know, in the watery factory. You know, where Connor goes, there could be only one, and then he goes through the whole big light show, shattering of glass and everything, and he's like getting bitten by animated wolves or something like that, and. But then it's like, okay, so he's won, you know, but we kind of like really only seen 2 or 3 of these so-called immortals. Yeah. So what you're saying is that the concept was supposed to be that you win one battle and then it's like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You win one battle and then there's going to be another afterwards.
And it just goes, it's never ending basically. You attain power and you get to the next
level. If you're immortal, it's good that it's never ending, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's
so where do the new immortals come from then?
Well, I mean, they're in like, they can... I presume with powers they can control their own destiny, so they can be in alternative places and things like that and whatnot.
Or just the fact that new immortals are born again.
Yeah, exactly.
But the old ones who got beheaded aren't reborn, so when you said Ramirez was going to be in it, how is he going to be in it?
Well, his essence, because his prize for teaching Connor, because Connor's considered the good one.
The one.
He's considered the one, he's the once and future king. I mean, that's a great scene, Jake. In the Scottish battlefield, where he's about to be stabbed, Conor McLeod and the Kirk says, no, that one's mine. And it doesn't have the effect of like, oh, you're going to get killed. It's like, what does he know about Conor? So, of course, as the townspeople think Conor's he's got the devil in him then. They don't realise the devil is the one who's trying to kill him, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the essence of these people, because Connor was the one, the essence of Ramirez passed on to this thing and got trapped and would have had to come back. None of that's in, although I have Highlander 2 here. I have Highlander 2, the Renegade version, right? I own the original one, but the Renegade version takes out all the alien stuff. Which
looks like El Mariachi in that shot.
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah. Actually, it is a strange thing. Well, they used a picture from... on the poster for the original Highlander 2, they used a picture of Christopher Lambert from that film, The Sicilian. That's how clued up they were about it, you know, and stuff. But yeah, this version, the Renegade version, recut by Russell Mulcahy, gets rid of all the alien stuff, the exposition about alien and the ozone layer and whatnot and like that, and it makes it more to the original vision, based on what they had, if you know what I mean, stuff. But you know, it's literally like trying to, you know, polish.
So what, does it make it a much shorter film then?
It makes it a much shorter film, yeah, and it makes it more satisfying, I think, than...
so in the commentaries, I mean, do they talk about the stuff that you're talking about?
Yeah, they talk about that stuff. There's a documentary on it as well about
to be or not to be a sequel.
That's right, yeah, and that's a lot. It's still not great, but it's better. It's better than the one. I think if you love Highlander 1, don't watch Highlander 2. It won't ruin your opinion on the first one, but you'll be disappointed because they kind of, well, they sold out. You know.
Yeah.
And
well, no, but I mean, it's interesting that it's like written by. I mean, it's directed by the same director.
Yeah, Russell Mulcahy.
Yeah, Mulcahy, I think.
I think I've heard his name.
I don't know. American way is like Mulcahy.
Yeah, of course.
So then, all right. So what do you got there then?
This is Highlander 3, The Sorcerer. Known in America as Highlander 3, The Final Dimension, and known in Australia as Highlander 3, The Magician. I think that was so much. They changed the name so much that people think they've got to see a different film each time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many Highlanders were there?
There were 5 theatrical released films. There was 2 live action series and an animated series. and a manga cartoon as well as the the usual comics, fan fiction, and official fiction and stuff.
So is he still Connor McLeod in this then?
This is a prequel to the first one.
Prequel?
It's prequel. This is before he gets to New York in 1986 in the first film.
Oh, so that's interesting. So
now, this is interesting because Kane is playing...
Alright, just stand up for a second, Jamie.
I'll stand up here. Right.
Wave your arms. Don't do anything.
There can be only one.
Alright. Yeah,
Right,
sit that down.
Didn't work.
Didn't work at all. Trying to keep the lights on.
So in tying in with the idea for the original Highlander 2, Kane is fighting the game of the Immortals, but he's not actually an immortal himself. But
Kane is Mario Van Peebles?
Mario Van Peebles, yeah. He's and he's fighting that game. And so Connor's... He tells me where he kind of interlopers in the game, so he has to sort it out. Because if the power's used by someone else, they don't know how to use it, and it just causes devastation, or omnipotent, maniacal power, that kind of thing. So Connor has to travel
So
to
if
New
he
York.
beheads someone, he doesn't get their powers.
He doesn't get their power, no. And
but the power just goes crazy all over the place. And
that's
he
it, yeah.
doesn't get it.
It turns into this negative energy that...
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Which we find out... and it's explained why the scar on the Kurgan's neck and how he was able to survive it, because he used this negative energy. He tapped into it and he absorbed it.
So anyway, so 3 movies, series, the stuff to follow, and then now a remake and stuff. So basically, like to end it, it's kind of like we got a gem. I mean, I'm pretty sure those who, have gone through all of this have realized that Highlander has been one of those remarkable Sunday movies, didn't have too much plot to follow and everything, and was just kind of like an excellent film.
Yeah.
And it had its own little built-in mythology that became twisted with The Quickening. And, and then they made a prequel with the 3rd one. And you said something about there was 2 other movies, 2 other theatrical releases.
Yes, there was Highlander Endgame in 2000. Where
I think I remember the Endgame. Didn't the Endgame have the guy from the series?
Yeah, Adrian Paul, yeah. And The Edge, the wrestler, he was in it. And it shows the death of Connor McLeod.
The death of Connor McLeod was in the Endgame.
Was in Endgame, yeah. Where, what we're talking about, but he crosses over to the Eternal thing. After he ferries through Duncan MacLeod into his place, he then crosses over into the Eternal Field.
So did Duncan MacLeod, who played by Adrian Paul, did he go right into the series after Endgame?
It was, this
or was
film came
Endgame,
out...
wasn't his series already on?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So the movie was a way of kind of like tying... It's kind of like our first shared universe in a way, because it's kind of like it was tying the TV show with the cinema series. Yeah. And everything, yeah.
So the series predated it. There was also the Highlander the Raven, which is about a female.
Yeah, female Highlander.
Elizabeth Grayson, who's been in the Death of the Incredible Hulk as Black Widow. She wasn't called that, isn't it? Yeah. And so that was that. And then the final one was Highlander the Source, which they really dropped the ball with, because it suggests that he's dying of an illness. Duncan, even though we've been told he can't.
So Duncan's dying now.
He's dying of it. It's strongly implied he's got AIDS, which is really tasteless.
You're just making that up.
No, honestly, if you go back, he's got this illness that's and he has to...
Debilitating illness that is eating him from the inside.
And he has to kill this unknown, predictably, so he can cure himself. And that's the point of that one. It wasn't very well done. And
How long did the series last? Like 2 seasons or 3 seasons?
It was actually 6.
6, wow.
1992 to 1998 it ran.
Yeah, man, it's one of those, you guys remember when, like, you had all of these different weird adventure series on, like, in America it was like, UPN or, Channel 5, but what about The Raven? Did they do any crossovers?
Yeah, they did a crossover. It was Raven was a spin-off of the series, like the last 2 series, because Adrian Paul wanted too big a salary, so they brought someone else in, and they thought it'd be a good idea to have...
kind of like our female doctor, as we were talking earlier.
Exactly, yeah. And, I mean, that's a good point, actually. I mean, Doctor Who's being cited as being the first to do that, but maybe Highlander was ahead of
Highlander did it first.
Ahead of the curve. This TV series, I think, is woefully underrated, because a lot of it was great. It was really good.
Well, I mean, it was a good adventure series. I mean, like, the thing about it is, I mean, American does that well, and that's why I was trying to say it's like one of our, like, the independent channels like Channel 9, 11, and all of that, they would have these like, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but they would have these kind of like adventure series on. You know, we always get a we always love a good hour, you know, adventure procedural. You know, you got the police procedural where it's like, will they solve it? But then you have the adventures procedural where it's like, will they succeed? Well, thanks for watching us on the silver screen. It's good to be back here. Maybe we'll do some more of these, you know, where we could deconstruct more films from the past. And Highlander was indeed a great choice. Thank you, Jamie. You know, not only was it a classic film, but it also begat sequels, it begat TV shows, it begat musicals, cartoons, you know. So thank you for watching Silver Screen here on Colors, City of Liverpool Online Radio. Thank you very much. Color.